Okay, hello crafters. I've got a tutorial today for this cute little 3D bee card. It says just because. I thought this makes a great kind of everyday card if I have to do a thank you or thinking of you or whatever the case may be. This is a real simple one. You can kind of see there's some little 3D elements. The bees pop up. So it looks pretty cute. So we'll go over today how you can put this together with the kit. Okay, the card kit that you should have received comes with a few elements, and I'll just point them out. And these are the parts for putting our card together. So first, you're going to have the white card. It's made out of white cardstock. Okay, so we're going to choose to do this way. Honestly, this card can be made either landscape or portrait. So you'll have one card made, and then you're going to have one patterned backing paper, and it's actually going to be double-sided. So your choice which side you like. Then you're going to have little bees. You should have, each of the bees will be looking a different direction. So you should have 3 little bees. Then you're going to have, they're like pop squares. They're 3D elevated double-sided sticky squares that will help to make the elements pop. Then you'll have a sentiment on brown paper. This is the honeycomb that's been cut out of black cardstock. You'll have a little beehive. I've already put it together for you because the pieces were really thin and kind of challenging, so I thought I'll just put them together for you so it's all set. And then a piece of twine. And then this is actually just a plain old glue stick, but they make them now so that they're a little bit smaller head, but you use a glue stick. And then I like to use a tape runner. So if you've got double-sided tape, you don't have to. Glue stick works just fine, but that's what I use as a double-sided tape runner as well. So I'm going to show you how to put all these elements together to make our card. Okay, so first we're actually going to start with the patterned backing paper, and we're going to put the sentiment on it. If you're going to choose to do it this way, you absolutely can. You may want to give yourself a little bit more space because you're just trying to make sure you leave enough room to put the honeycomb. So your choice. I'm going to do it portrait. So all you're going to need to do is, I made it long enough, so if you wanted to go the other direction, you can as well. But what we're going to do is just simply glue it down and then trim the excess. So take your glue stick, or if you've got a tape runner, you're going to run it along the back. And make sure you get the edge. You're going to put it down. I give myself a little bit of a margin at the bottom. Put it down and press. There's no right way if you wanted to scoot over. Mine's kind of centered, but not really. I'm not too worried. So I take my pair of scissors and I'm going to trim off the excess. So now I've got my sentiment along the bottom. Okay. So next we're going to put the little twine that goes right above it. And if you notice in the card I've left over here, there's a little knot. Easiest way I found to do this is you do the knot tying before you even attach the twine to the card. So you're going to cut yourself off. I gave you quite a bit extra. You're going to cut yourself off a little twine. You're going to find a spot on the long one and just tie a knot with it. Over, under, knot. The nice part about this is this will slide back and forth wherever you want to position it. Okay? So you're going to want a little bit of a leeway to tuck under, and we'll tape it on the back side. A little here. I'm going to tape it down first, or I'm going to glue it down first, and then I'll come back and I'll trim this so it's a little bit shorter, and I can even, if I want to, move the knot around a little bit more. So the way that we're going to do this is I will flip it over on the back. You can use your glue or tape, or even just a regular piece of tape like Scotch tape. In this case, I don't even have a Scotch tape. I'm just going to use a piece of washi tape. So it's totally up to you. So I kind of figure out where this is going to go. On this side, I'm going to cross it over, tape it down. And watch this. I can even trim it a little bit. There we go. So now on one side it's set. I'm going to push it across to the other side. Do the same type of thing. I'm going to put it down. Where's my piece of tape? Again, this isn't going to show, so it doesn't matter what the tape looks like. It could be blue painter's tape. It just doesn't matter. So I'm going to put the tape down, do my trimming. This is what's going on behind the scenes. Nobody's going to see it. You got that? Okay. Ta-da! When I flip it over, it looks great. So I'll put the knot where I want it. Then I'm going to do a little trimming. A little here, a little there. Done. I even kind of liked mine a little frayed, so I pushed at the ends. So there we go. All right, we're all set. We just throw these away. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, now it's ready to be mounted on the card itself, okay? So we're going to flip this over and apply adhesive. In this case, if you want to use your glue stick, mine dials up like a chapstick. Put glue all over the back. That goes quick. Glue some around here. Don't forget to glue over where your strings come in. Okay, so now it's glued all over. And we'll put it. Make sure you're applying it whichever direction the card opens. You don't want to put it upside down in the wrong way. So I just kind of eyeball it where I want it to be, and then I press down. One of the things I've learned with making cards stick better is that sometimes it's not just about how much glue you put on it, but it's also about the pressure you put on it. So one thing I'd recommend doing is after you glue this, go get yourself a drink, go get a snack, and while you're gone, you should stick it under a nice big book. And this is not real heavy, but you just push it under there and leave it there for a minute. Just let it so that it can glue and have that pressure. And we'll come back in a minute after I get a drink. Okay, so we're back. Hopefully you got a drink. So now we're just ready to put on the last elements. We have to put them in order though, otherwise they start covering each other up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the honeycomb on. And I actually have this white piece of paper, not just so that you can see the honeycomb better, but because the gluing process for this is a little messy. You will need to have a glue stick. That's about the best way to get this on here. So you're going to flip your honeycomb upside down. And honestly, doesn't really matter which side is up and which side is down, but if you look carefully, one side has a little bit of texture on it, and I like that to face up. The other side is a little just flat. So on the back flat side, I'm just gonna daub a little bit of glue stick kind of all over it, making sure to get the ones on the outside edge. That's why the paper's under there, to kind of catch all the extra glue. So I've kind of glopped up all the back side of this honeycomb. I set this down, and I'm going to set this over here. Remember, we want to put the beehive kind of over here. So I want to make sure there's room, and press it down. There. So I've got my honeycomb on there. Okay, so next comes the beehive. Now if you notice on this card, the beehive stands up a little bit. It has one of these poofy squares on the back side of it. So what you're going to do, you should have two, you might even have three. You're going to take one of them and you're going to put it right there in the center, okay? It's double-sided sticky, so on one side you'll take the backing off. And you can throw that in the trash, and then you're going to set it down on the beehive, okay? And then, in fact, I'm going to send you 3 of them because you really should put part of another one. These can be cut. That's what's really awesome about them. So I'm going to have you cut this in 4ths. You're going to cut it in half. And we'll set that way for the bees. And then we're going to cut that piece in half again. So now you have 2 little double-sided sticky squares. Take the backing off of it. It's a good thing I got my glasses on so I can see this. Okay, now put it down on one side, and then we'll put the other one on the other side of the beehive door. Hopefully you can still see this so I'm not in your way there. So we'll put it on the other side of the beehive door. Do you see that? So they're on the back of the beehive, and we'll take off this side of the sticky paper. So now you should have sticky squares to help you stick it to the card. We'll flip that over, and I'm going to put it kind of in this corner. Touch, ooh, and make sure, the only thing is you don't want a willy-nilly beehive, or I don't know if the bees will come and visit it. You kind of want it along a horizontal axis. There we go. Yep, that'll work. Okay, so the only thing we've got left are our cute little honeybees. They also get put on by these little tiny squares. So, fortunately, I have one floating around from making cards earlier. So you're going to cut this up really tiny, and it's kind of based on the size of your bees. You may have to cut them up even smaller. This is one I had that has a green backing, but that's okay. So there's one bee, it's ready. I'm going to cut a little piece off of this one. And I may even have to cut this one a little smaller. I think it might be too big for a bee. All right, so then you take your little pieces. Once again, take the backing off of one side of it. This may take a little work. And you attach it to the back of the bee. Try to make sure that you don't see it from the outside edge, because you want it to look like it's floating without the help of a big poofy square in the back. Okay, so those two are ready. Let's put the square, this last skinny one, on this bee here. All right. Hopefully that's the most difficult thing you've had to do. All the rest of it's pretty easy. Okay, so he's got a poofy square. So where you put your bees really is up to you. However you want to make them look like they're floating around the beehive. I've got one bee that's kind of over on this side. I took the sticky paper off, I took the paper off the back of the sticky. So now it presses down, and if you can see, it has a little bit of a poof to it. Can you see there's some elevation? So it gives it more of a 3D look. Okay, so I'm going to put the second bee on. All right, here's my second bumblebee. I have this one kind of floating, oops, he's doing a back dive, floating over the beehive. So you can layer it even more, and it'll still go in a flat envelope. It's pretty awesome that way. Okay, my third and final bee, took the backing off that paper. I'm going to put him up here so he's kind of flying away, and press him down. And that, ladies, when we move this trash away, is the entire Just Because card. You did it. Hopefully you had all the pieces you need and they all went where they were supposed to. And check it out, and then you can write whatever you want on the inside. Hopefully you had fun making your card. I would love to see pictures of it. Anyways, thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.